On the broadcast tonight, we give updates on the Israel and Gaza conflict.
And we'll have details to prepare you for Shippensburg's homecoming.
All that and more right now on SUTV News.
Good evening and welcome to this week's broadcast with the latest news. I'm Walker Stutz.
And I'm Lex Boyd.
The man accused of setting Governor Shapiro's house on fire has pleaded guilty. In April, Cody Balmer was arrested after breaking into the governor's residence in Harrisburg and setting it on fire. Balmer appeared in court on Tuesday for the firebombing and pleaded guilty to a number of charges, including attempted homicide of Shapiro. Balmer's plea deal with the Dauphin County District Attorney's Office secured a lesser sentencing of 25 to 50 years in prison. Governor Shapiro has publicly condemned the growing impact of political violence, urging many leaders to reject the, quote, rhetoric violence, end quote.
On Monday, the Wood Honors College participated in an event known as Nobel Monday, done in association with the Nobel Prize Center. The event affords students the opportunity to interact with honors students from around the world. For a more in-depth look, here's SUTV's Alexander Keeley.
Every year, the Norwegian Nobel Peace Prize Committee has a hard decision to make. Who in our world has advocated for peace and well-being above all others? This year, the award was given to Maria Corina Machado for her longtime advocacy for democracy in Venezuela. The announcement was big news for the Wood Honors College, as they've become members of the Partners in Peace organization. Partners in Peace brings together students from colleges across the world to teach younger people about the Nobel Peace Prize. Dr. Steve Berg will be teaching a seminar in the spring all about Partners in Peace. I got the chance to interview him on Shippensburg's involvement in the program.
The Partners in Peace program, which is something that Shippensburg, we were very fortunate. We were one of 16 inaugural schools that are partners with the Nobel Center in Oslo.
As a way of reaching Partners in Peace members, the Nobel Peace Center ran an event called the Knowledge Cafe, or Nobel Monday. The event invited honor students from around the world to meet and discuss in groups and breakout sessions. It also featured presentations by former Nobel Peace Committee member Henrik Seiss and the Education Director at the Nobel Peace Center, Bendik Egg. The chief questions were how students can use the message of Maria Corina Machado and how they can promote peace in their own communities.
It's something that really tries to talk about like what is important to humanity. What do we as people in the world, what are the things that we're striving for and how do we want to make the world a better place?
In addition to the seminar in the spring, the Wood Honors College will be doing a study abroad trip to Oslo to meet people at the Nobel Institute. They will also be holding their second Voices of Peace event, where students and professors will gather to reflect on the work of Maria Corina Machado. This is an exciting time for both the Wood Honors College and all other programs involved in Partners in Peace. You will get more information when the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony happens in December. For the full interview with Dr. Steve Berg, be sure to follow Shippensburg University TV on YouTube. Reporting from SUTV News, I'm Alexander Keeley.
Fall break starts tomorrow afternoon at 4 p.m. Over the weekend, the dining hall will have different hours, and many dining options around campus will be closed. Dining hours can be found on their website at ship.campusdish.com. Resident halls will remain open during the break. Reach out to your resident assistant or other Rest Life staff with any questions. The Shipwreck will also have limited hours, which can be found on the Ship Recreation app. Classes resume Wednesday, October 22nd at 8 a.m. Enjoy the long weekend.
Homecoming weekend is just around the corner with another year of fun-filled activities. Homecoming weekend will kick off next Friday at 7:15 p.m. with a pep rally in the Cub Amphitheater. Saturday, the homecoming parade will begin at 10 a.m. and the parade will travel on Adams Drive to Cumberland Drive and disband after passing the CD Union building. Tailgating for the football game will also begin at 10 a.m. with the game beginning at 1 p.m. with the Raiders looking for a win over Lock Haven. The crowning of the homecoming court will occur during halftime of the football game, with SUTV's own Jane Pullman looking to take the crown home for the CGM department. For more information on homecoming festivities, please visit www.ship.edu/alumni/homecoming. A battle of coins is underway on campus to create some change. The Communication Journalism and Media Department is participating in a penny war. The friendly competition among student media groups is a homecoming fundraiser organized by Homecoming Court honoree and the Slate editor-in-chief, Jane Pullman. The money raised will be donated to benefit the Shippensburg Food Pantry. Donation cups can be found in the media hallway on the 3rd floor of the Cub. The student media group that receives the most donations will be rewarded a pizza party. Contributions toward the penny war can be made through October 21st. Coming up next, we'll learn about the media boycott
and a new look into the Roman Colosseum.
Updates to come after this.
Want to make your voice heard? Play your favorite music? Or cover the hottest campus events? At WSYC 88.7 FM, Shippensburg's student-run radio station, you control the mic. Whether you're into music, sports, talk radio, news, or podcasting, there's a spot for you. Join the team, build your skills, and have a blast while doing it. WSYC 88.7 FM, your station, your voice. Visit wsyc.squarespace.com to get started.
Here at Multicultural Student Affairs, we value every student. No matter your race or ethnicity, you are guaranteed a home here. MSA offers many resources: a place to study, a place to meditate, a place to socialize, or a safe place to communicate issues or talk with a faculty member. Come down to Gilbert Hall today and join our family. Our roots run deep. Why not grow together? This is a public service announcement from MSA.
Are you a commuter looking for a place to unwind between classes? The Commuter Lounge in Cub 209 is designed just for you. Relax and recharge with access to a kitchenette, board games, computers, and printers for your assignments. It's the perfect spot to study, take a break, or connect with other commuters at Shippensburg University. For access, scan the QR code outside of the lounge or email commute@ship.edu. Make the Commuter Lounge your go-to space at SHIP.
Now it's time to take a trip around the globe with Lindsay Smith in this week's World News.
The ceasefire secured between Hamas and Israel remains fragile. This week, a ceasefire was negotiated between Hamas and Israel in order to discuss an end to the war. According to the Israeli military, Hamas released 20 hostages. Nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners detained by Israel were released in exchange. Despite this ceasefire, the prospect of peace is fragile. Security forces return to the streets of Gaza in attacks with armed groups in what Hamas says is to restore law and order where Israeli troops have withdrawn. Hamas has executed 8 people in the streets, claiming they were collaborators with Israel. Hamas has refused to disarm and continues to clash with anti-Hamas groups in Gaza. Israeli President Netanyahu has warned that military operations will continue if Hamas does not disarm. 2 earthquakes hit the southern part of the Philippines on Friday, leaving 7 dead and multiple injured. The first earthquake had a magnitude of 7.4, causing multiple buildings to crack and residents to evacuate. The next quake came only a few hours later, with a recorded magnitude of 6.8. A tsunami warning was then prompted, but expired a few hours later after many residents evacuated. The Philippines suffered a devastating earthquake at the end of September that killed more than 70 people. Residents are slowly starting to return home after these recent earthquakes to assess the damage. The National Weather Service is now reporting that an EF3 tornado that touched down in North Dakota this summer has been upgraded to an EF5, the first tornado of that magnitude in North Dakota in 12 years. Here's Josh Fair with more.
A tornado which landed in rural North Dakota has just been upgraded to an EF5, which is the largest possible tornado on the enhanced Fujita scale. The twister touched down just southeast of the city of Enderlin on June 20th, 2025. With recorded wind speeds of over 210 miles per hour, the tornado ripped through the rural state, flipping over houses and even derailing some tanker cars. The National Weather Service said that one of those tanker cars was thrown over 475 feet. For reference, the typical tanker car can weigh about 70 to 80,000 pounds on an empty load, and up to 200,000 pounds with a full payload.
Cutting-edge research published last year was developed by meteorologists from the Canadian Severe Storms Laboratory and the Northern Tornado Project, providing the scientific foundation for the final rating. This study identifies the wind speed it takes to pick up and move large objects such as the 286,000-pound train cars that were airborne as the tornado passed by. It's this new research that's now being accepted by scientific entities like the National Weather Service that directly led to the upgrade in scale.
Authorities say 2 men and a woman died during the tornado. Also, the large tornado was said to have destroyed a farm in the Enderlin area, leveling one of the buildings on that farm. Initially, the twister was ruled an EF3 just days after it happened. Now that it has been upgraded, that leaves speculation for what could possibly upgrade other tornadoes that happened in the past, helping us gain a better perspective of how they operate.
Drama at the Pentagon stirs as dozens of reporters turned in their access badges and exited the building Wednesday. Reporters say they would rather leave than agree to work under restrictions imposed by President Trump. The Pentagon Press Corps says that a new rule imposed by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth would leave journalists vulnerable to expulsion if they sought to report on information that has not been approved first by Hegseth. News organizations are saying they will still provide coverage of the military, no matter the vantage point. A previously closed section of the Rome Colosseum has recently been opened to the public for the first time in over 2,000 years. This tunnel was used by emperors to enter the arena completely unseen and safely. It leads to an honor box that has a perfect view of all the action happening below. The tunnel is named the Passage of Emperor Commodus, after an emperor of the same name who was almost assassinated on his way through the passage. Excavation on the tunnel is set to resume next year in hopes of reaching the barracks where gladiators were held. That is all in world news for this week. Now back to Walker and Lex at the desk.
Thanks, Lindsay. Up next, a look at the new Tron.
And the latest news on the second Black Phone movie.
More to come after this.
Whether it's our stories, the warmth of our laugh, or our family's secret sauce, we all bring something different to the table. So make some space. The power of connection is waiting right outside your comfort zone. Learn how you can help strengthen your community at belongingbeginswithus.org/teamup.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Well, it's finally starting to get colder. It took autumn long enough.
Yeah, it got colder today, and I happen to wear shorts, so that's not great for me.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah. Let's hand it off to Ian Impink with your weekly weather report.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another week of weather here at SUTV News. We are now just over halfway through the fall semester, and that means that fall weather is finally starting to come our way. And I can't forget to mention fall break. We saw far too much heat in the start of October, but our wishes have finally been answered in the form of some crisp fall air. We've had some chilly days and some far chillier nights, as we've been seeing consistent temperatures in the low to mid 60s. Now for what's to come in the next week. Today, we saw a lot of what we've been used to, with temps in the high 50s and maxing out at 62, along with some speedy winds between 10 to 15 miles per hour. But now, a little something out of the ordinary, as we're seeing almost freezing temperatures tonight at a low of just 35 degrees after the sun goes down. Those very chilly temps tonight will cause areas of frost overnight that you'll expect to see early tomorrow morning. The sun will come out shortly after and assist in clearing that out. Now combine that with some light winds around 6 miles per hour, and you're looking at a high around 62, my fault, followed up with clear skies and 41 tomorrow night. Now for the weekend where most of you will go home for fall break, but for those of you on campus, on Saturday we'll see partly sunny skies with a high around 69 before moving into the night with some clouds and a low of 46. Nothing out of the ordinary. Coming around to Sunday, we're going back up into the 70s with a high at 72. And Sunday will include some midday showers with a precipitation chance at around 70%, carrying into the night with a low in the high 40s. As for Monday, we'll see some more chances for showers at about 40%, but otherwise partly sunny and 63. Ending fall break on Tuesday, we could see some more light showers with a high in the mid-60s and moving into the 40s later in the night. On the first day back after break, it's going to be a great day. Mostly sunny and a high at around 63. A very solid welcome back. Rounded out a full week from now, and we're set to see just around 60 degrees. Overall, mostly what you expect to see this time of year. So break out those sweatpants and sweatshirts and get cozy as the cold keeps rolling in. For the majority of you going home, make sure you check your local forecast for more accuracy around you. And I hope everyone has a wonderful fall break. That's all for weather. Thank you for joining me. My name is Ian in Pink, and I will send it over to Callie Vincent with entertainment.
There is tragic news in the music world this week. Grammy-winning R&B legend D'Angelo passed away at the age of 51. His family announced his death on Tuesday from a long battle with pancreatic cancer. D'Angelo leaves behind an impressive music career with hits like Brown Sugar, Lady, and Untitled. His music is what defined the neo-soul movement of the 90s. Already several tributes have been created online to honor D'Angelo's life and accomplishments. The family has also invited fans to join them in mourning and celebrating the life and legacy he left behind. This is a tragic loss for the music world and for his family. He will be greatly missed. Now we take a look at the gaming world with changes coming to Xbox. Earlier this month, Microsoft announced several changes coming to Game Pass. Such changes include 3 new Game Pass plans to replace current ones called Essential, Premium, and Ultimate. Microsoft says these changes offer greater benefits to its players than ever before, but most players are furious over the large price increase that was introduced to Game Pass. Game Pass Premium's price alone rose from $10 to $29 a month. Some gamers are furious, saying this price increase is unacceptable and that they will not renew their subscriptions. Microsoft, however, continues to justify these changes in face of backlash. As of now, it remains unclear how these changes will affect Microsoft and its players. An exciting new spin-off to the Game of Thrones has been announced. With the latest news, let's send it over to Rylan Walls.
The trailer for the second spin-off to HBO's award-winning series Game of Thrones has just been released. The series, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, follows a lanky hedge knight, Dunk, and a young boy, Egg, who aspires to be his squire. This one of the series is unlike Game of Thrones and the first prequel, House of the Dragon, with its lighter tone and focus on lone board characters like Dunk. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is set roughly 100 years before Game of Thrones and nearly a century after House of the Dragon. According to its official logline, the action takes place in an age when the Targaryen line still holds the Iron Throne, and the memory of the last dragon has not yet passed from living memory.
Are you Baelor Targaryen? No. Then would you move?
Season 1 is expected to follow Dunk's adventures as he meets Egg, and they attempt to enter a joust, despite lacking the name and resources to do so. Dexter Soul Ansel plays Egg, and Peter Claffey plays Dunk, with many other prominent names making the cast as side characters. The first episode of Season 1 of The Knight of the Seven Kingdoms is set to premiere on Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on January 18th of 2026. The series will stream on HBO Max with a new episode each week and will consist of 6 episodes. This has been Rylan Walls with SUTV. Now back to Callie with more on this week's entertainment.
Moving to the big screen, Tron Ares released last week to lukewarm reviews and lackluster performance at the box office. Despite being the third Tron to be released since the original in 1982, Tron Ares is not a continuation of the last film. Tron Legacy, and instead is a soft reboot of the series with new characters and a new story. While fans were hoping for a direct sequel to Legacy, producer Justin Springer assured fans in an interview with Screen Rant that Tron Ares did not erase the events of the previous films, but instead moved to tell a new story in the same universe. Even with the film's impressive visuals and soundtrack, it wasn't enough to make fans and critics interested, as the film earned a 55% on Rotten Tomatoes and only grossed $33 million at the box office. A sequel to an iconic horror movie is being released this week. If you like horror and thrillers, then this movie is for you. Black Phone 2 is finally here, where famous actor Ethan Hawke reprises his role as a terrifying grabber. The director of the movie, Scott Derrickson, continues the storyline of Finn and his sister from the first Black Phone movie. Derrickson is the director known for other famous movies like Sinister and Doctor Strange. This movie hits theaters on October 17th. This has been Callie Vincent with your week of entertainment news. Now back to Lex and Walker at the desk.
Thanks, Callie. You can't see our feet, but when we come back, we're going to be kicking on over to Sam O'Connor for the latest in Raider athletics.
All that and more when we return.
Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love is the majority. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our every day.
Shippensburg University women's soccer took on regional rival Shepherd Wednesday night. The game was a defensive matchup with both teams struggling to score a goal in the first half. Shippensburg goalkeeper Kirsten Brown was putting on a show with a total of 9 saves, tying her second most in a game this season. The first half ended with zeros on the board. The Raider defensive backline was putting in work keeping the ball from reaching the net. The second half had started, and both teams were planning on making an offensive push. As the game progressed, Shepherd managed to find holes in Shippensburg's defense, which led to the first goal scored in the game by Shepherd. Soon after, 3 more goals were tallied by Shepherd minutes apart, and the Raiders were looking for answers. The game ended 4-0 with a tough loss for Ship. The Raiders will travel to Westchester on October 18th for their next game of the season. Shipfield Hockey shut out number 7th ranked Millersville in a 3-0 victory Tuesday afternoon at home. Shippensburg posted its 8th shutout of the season and held Millersville to just 1 shot on goal. The Raiders had 16 shots on goal and was held scoreless until the 3rd minute when Elena Fergassi scored a rebound out of the air. Hannah White fired home a shot from the top of the circle off a setup from McKenna Boyle to help the Raiders go into halftime up 2-0. Fergassi scored her 2nd goal of the game and 6th of the season just 4 minutes into the 3rd quarter. Emma Albee made 1 save and recorded her 8th shutout of the season for the Raiders. Shipfield Hockey will return to action this Saturday at 11 a.m. as they travel to take on number 6th ranked Bloomsburg. Catch the action online at the PSAC Sports Network. This past Saturday, the Raider football team was back at Seth Grove Stadium for a PSAC matchup against the Marauders of Millersville. Ship had an offensive showcase throughout the day, putting up 587 yards of total offense behind the arm of Riley Gunnels. Ship scored on 6 of their first 8 possessions, and all 5 touchdowns on the day were from a different player. Multiple Raiders had career days, including the receiving tandem of Marcus Sweeney and Ty Neal, who each had over 100 receiving yards on the day. The Raiders finished the day with a total of 35 first downs, the most since 2012. Ship won the matchup by a final score of 41-28 in dominating fashion. Football will hit the road once again this weekend for a showdown against ESU. Tennis played their final match this past weekend of the fall season. The Raiders went on the road to Messiah in Grantham to face the Falcons of Messiah. In the singles, Jade Miller and Ava Callis picked up huge victories for the Raiders. Corinne Markovich won 9 games across her 2 matches, but fell short in both contests from the #1 spot. The Raiders won at least 3 games in each of their doubles matches, but fell short in the end for each of them. Ship was scheduled to face Lebanon Valley College later that day, but the match was canceled due to the weather conditions. The Raider tennis team will return to action in the spring as they begin their championship play. NBA basketball is back, and there's a lot to look forward to for the upcoming season. Starting with the hometown Philadelphia 76ers, they will return to the newly named Xfinity Mobile Arena Saturday, October 25th for their first home game of the season. The Sixers will be headlined this year by some new faces, including the 3rd overall pick in the draft, VJ Edgecombe, as well as some familiar characters too. Philly's favorite bunny will be back on the hardwood this year as hip-hop will return to the Sixers during their throwback nights at home. Many fans are excited for his return. Other stories around the NBA include a new TV deal for a familiar place for the NBA basketball. NBC and Peacock are broadcasting NBA basketball again starting this season, with the opening night games being streamed exclusively on the network. NBC will replace the Turner Company after a long run on the network. That's all for sports this week. I'm Samantha O'Connor. Now back to Lex and Walker at the desk.
Up next, we take a trip around campus asking students the most important question.
When SUTV News returns.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing to keep us focused.
A habit we never skip, to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game? To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mental health. Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Hello and welcome back to another week of Ship Talk. I'm Natalie Kling, and today we're in front of Sievers and Noggle because we're asking fellow classmates what their favorite residence hall is.
My favorite dorm is Sievers, right behind us.
Harley Hall. Definitely Harley.
Noggle Hall.
Sievers Hall.
Lac Cove Hall.
I'll just say my favorite hall is definitely Kiefer. Just because it's more lively than Sievers and Noggle over here. There's a lot more energy going on over here. It's kind of gloomy around here.
So my favorite hall is McLean Hall.
Noggle.
My favorite residence hall is Sievers behind us because I'm a transfer and it's the first and only residence hall I've been in.
My favorite is McCune. I recently lived in Harley and I loved it, but McCune's like a whole new world compared to it. That's all for this week. Now back to Lex and Walker on the desk.
Well, Walker, that was the most important question ever. But I must ask, what is your favorite dorm?
Well, when I used to live in the dorms, it was Noggle. That was my favorite place. It had the big water tower right outside of it, so it had a nice view. How about you, Lex?
I'm a commuter.
Absolutely. Thank you for spending your evening with us here at SUTV. I'm Walker Stutz.
And I'm Lex Boyd. We won't be here next week, but join us on the 30th for the latest news on and off campus. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SUTV News, and check out our website, sutvnews.org.
Thank you, and have a good night.